Okay. Hey everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over some of the newest things that I've learned about selling on Facebook Marketplace. But the first thing that I need to do is tell you guys that this is going to be a really super casual, chit-chatty style video because honestly, I'm not exactly sure how to structure the content that I have for you guys. Usually whenever I do a video, I do a lot of notes. I like to map out an outline. I like to make sure that I'm filling these videos with everything that I can possibly say about the topic at the time when I'm filming it. But when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, because it's turning into more of an online selling platform versus just listing something like you would on Craigslist and then you sell it to somebody and then you move on with your life, I'm still trying to learn everything that there is to learn about actually listing merchandise on Facebook Marketplace, selling it to someone that is not local, shipping it out. They're starting to have new fees put into place. The online selling portion of the platform is still very foreign to me, so because I am still learning it, I don't know at what point I've learned everything that there is to learn so that I can pass on as much information to you guys in one single video. So I figured I would just chicken scratch out a whole bunch of notes of everything I think I've learned so far, and we would just have a basic discussion about it. And full disclosure, I don't know everything that there is to know about selling on Facebook Marketplace online, so I might not be able to answer all of your questions, but what I can do is sit down with you, have a little one-on-one conversation and tell you the noteworthy things that I think I've come across thus far. Part of me wanted to wait until I had all of the content that I wanted to include in just one solid video, but I know that a lot of you have been really looking forward to learning more about selling online using the Facebook Marketplace platform, so I didn't want to keep putting it off for weeks and weeks and weeks until I thought that I had every bit of information that there was to know about the platform. Because it's not fair to you guys. I mean, I might as well just let you know all the little things that there is to know as I learn them. And that way we can learn a new platform together. If you appreciate that I take the time to put this kind of content together for you, please do hit that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. My YouTube channel is all about helping entrepreneurs make money from home. So if that kind of content interests you, please do make sure that you are subscribed and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post a new video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is shipping on Facebook Marketplace, because when I was doing a little bit of digging and researching and trying to figure out what exactly it was about Facebook Marketplace that people had the most questions about, it seemed like the most searches and the most questions asked had to do with actually shipping, how it works, how expensive it is, if there's fees charged on it. And I think that a lot of those questions are really because a lot of people that sell on Facebook Marketplace don't really have a lot of experience selling on a platform like eBay where they're used to shipping their own items. So let's start with shipping, because I gotta tell you, shipping on Facebook Marketplace, I don't know if they could have made it any more simple. I think Facebook did a really good job of creating the marketplace platform to be really simple to use for people that want to sell on it. It's really comparable to Mercari or Poshmark in my opinion. So when I compare Facebook Marketplace to what Mercari does, I mean that you can opt to have Facebook Marketplace generate shipping labels for you based on a range of weight that you indicate your item may weigh. So you could say that your item weighs 0 to a half pound to 1 pound, 2 pounds to 5 pounds, and so on and so on. And the cost is also very comparable to Mercari, which tells me that Facebook has, kind of a deal going with the United States Postal Service to get a discounted rate across the board for its sellers. But if you know that you're going to be selling something, for instance, in a flat rate envelope, or if something is very lightweight and you know that $5 is going to be too much to ship it, you can still opt to print your own shipping labels. So when you get to the portion of the listing where you're indicating whether or not you're willing to ship it, there is a little drop-down button and you can say whether or not you want to have Facebook generate your labels or if you want to ship your own. And if you want to print your own shipping labels, you can indicate how much you want to charge for shipping. So this of course means that if you tell Facebook that you want to pay for the shipping label, that you want to do it on your own, and you are charging the buyer a certain rate for shipping, that when the buyer buys the item and pays for it, you receive all of the funds, including the amount of money that was charged for shipping. Whereas if you opt to have Facebook generate the shipping label for you, they charge the buyer a shipping rate and they get the money directly. You never get paid for that shipping rate. So depending on your experience with shipping, you might just opt to have Facebook Marketplace generate the label, take the money, email you a shipping label, and just keep it really super simple. Or if you're a more experienced seller, you might opt to just print your shipping label on your own using, PayPal or the free platform Pirate Ship to generate your own shipping labels. You are still required to upload tracking information into Facebook Marketplace just like you would with Mercari, because if you choose to ship on your own, you still have to show Facebook Marketplace that you did indeed ship the package, and that involves more than just clicking a button and saying, hey, yeah, I shipped it. You have to actually input tracking information to prove that you did in fact ship the item. So if you have experience with shipping on Mercari, Facebook Marketplace is almost identical in the same experience in getting items shipped out. So now let's talk about how long it takes to get paid when you sell something on Facebook. So if you sell something directly through Facebook's platform and you are receiving funds via Facebook Pay, if a buyer is buying something from you locally direct, they sent you a Facebook payment, they're coming to pick up the item, or you've arranged a meetup so that they can get their goods, then that money is received instantly. That's actually one of the things I always tell you guys I love about Facebook and Facebook Pay is that if you are coordinating a pickup with somebody and they are local to you, if they send you a Facebook payment, the money is instantly deposited into your bank account. There is zero wait. At least that has been my experience. It could, of course, be your banking institution and the way you choose to receive your funds from your Facebook payment. But in my experience, if I have somebody here local that's like, I want to buy that, I'll send you Facebook payment. They send it. It is automatically deposited into my bank account within minutes. But if you sell somebody something on Facebook Marketplace and you are shipping it out, Facebook Marketplace is the platform that takes the longest to finally get your payment. So if you're comparing Facebook Marketplace to a platform like Mercari or Poshmark, those can take a really long time because they will hold funds until the item is delivered to the buyer. And then usually the buyer has to accept the package, or if they don't accept the package, about 3 days has to go by before Mercari or Poshmark will release your payment. But with Facebook Marketplace, it's 5 days, and there is no option to have the buyer accept it early for you to get your funds faster. So if you sell something on Facebook Marketplace and you ship it to your buyer, 5 days after it's delivered, your funds will automatically be released. And you have to wait the 5 days after it's delivered before your money can be deposited. And that's kind of the one thing that I really don't like about shipping on Facebook Marketplace is there's no option for your buyer to confirm delivery the day it's delivered and have your funds released. You have to wait a 5-day grace period, which means that you have to wait what feels like an eternity to get paid right now because of so many delays that we've been experiencing with the United States Postal Service. For instance, just today, I received deposits from stuff that I sold on Facebook Marketplace in the middle of December because I shipped the stuff out in the middle of December. There was a ton of delays with delivery. And then after it was finally delivered, I still had to wait a whole 5 days in order for them to release payment. So things that I shipped a month ago, I'm just now getting paid for, and that is kind of frustrating. But of course, that has more to do with the delays of the United States Postal Service more than it has to do with Facebook just holding payment from me. But still, having to wait 5 days after an item is delivered before they'll release payment is a really long time. And keep in mind, it's 5 business days, not just 5 calendar days. So weekends don't count. And I also did want to point out, and again, a lot of this is probably going to be all over the place because I work in chicken scratch notes. I also did want to point out that Facebook does appear to be collecting sales tax for people in applicable states. and Facebook is holding those sales tax payments. And so if you are selling something to someone in an applicable state for collecting state sales tax, Facebook will automatically collect the sales tax and remit on your behalf. So if you've been concerned about the whole internet sales tax thing and Facebook Marketplace, it appears as though Facebook will take care of all of that for you. You don't need to worry about it. But of course, you do still need to worry about your own state in which you reside. But of course, if you have any questions about taxes, what taxes you owe, who to pay them to, I do highly recommend seeing a CPA. Taxes are something that can be very, very overwhelming. I personally have a CPA because I don't want to trust myself not to screw that up. So if you have any questions about sales tax, income tax, any form of tax, because we are currently in the heart of tax season, please make sure to talk to a CPA so that you can have all of your questions answered in regards to your own personal business. Now let's talk about the new fee schedule. Because up until 2021, there was 0 fees for selling on Facebook Marketplace. You could list an item and sell something locally and pay 0 fees when they actually buy the item, 0 fees when money gets transferred into your bank account using Facebook Pay. Facebook Marketplace was a golden platform for selling, especially when they started giving you the ability to ship items out because you didn't have to pay anything. No fees. All of these other online selling platforms, you have to pay a percentage, you have to pay transaction fees, and it's not just those. You have to pay the platform fees, the transaction fees, and you have to pay a PayPal fee and a transaction fee and a percentage for that. And it's just, there's fees on top of fees on top of fees for every single platform that you want to sell on. So that made Facebook Marketplace look amazing because there was 0 fees anywhere. There was 0 fees to get your money, 0 fees when you ship something, 0 fees when something's sold. But those days are gone. Sorry to say, Facebook has enacted a fee schedule, but it is still a lot less than other fees out there. So Facebook Marketplace has initiated a 5% selling fee or a minimum of 40 cents for something that sells under $8. So as we all know, these other selling platforms, that is significantly different. Because Poshmark is 20%, Mercari is like 12.5% now, same as eBay. eBay is 12.35%. Amazon charges crazy fees everywhere, storage fees, selling fees, shipping fees, fees on top of fees. Everywhere has got these crazy amount of fees. So even though Facebook Marketplace is starting to charge fees, 5% or 40 cents if you sell something under $8, that's not bad. That is not bad, especially considering the fact that they really make shipping super simple. They're collecting sales tax on your behalf and remitting it for you. Take 5%, that's cool with me. But when I went onto Facebook's help page to find an actual fee structure to, put a screenshot here for you guys, because I was skeptical because I sold a couple of things and was still not being charged fees. And I'm like, I know that when 2021 starts, I was supposed to start being charged fees, but I'm still not being charged fees. And then I saw this little awesome golden note on their fee structure page that said that they are actually waiving seller fees through June 30th of 2021. And I think that has something to do with the pandemic. They're trying to give sellers a break because they know that people are, getting into selling things or selling off merchandise because they're needing some financial help right now because they might be out of work or have their hours cut due to the pandemic. And so this is something really nice that they're doing for Facebook Marketplace sellers. They are continuing to waive fees through June 30th. Oh yes, and the 5% or the 40-cent fee includes everything. 5% or 40 cents for everything under $8 is the one flat fee, which is great. So there's no percentage plus a transaction fee plus this plus Facebook payment, blah, 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 blah. There's none of that. It's just 5% or 40 cents for anything under $8. So I think those were the 3 really big things that people had questions about. How shipping works, when you get paid, what kind of fees are there? So now this is the part of the video where I really wanted to get casual with you guys and talk about the little other things that I've learned, the tips for selling more on Facebook Marketplace, just basically all of the noteworthy things that I came across when I really put a lot of effort into selling on Facebook Marketplace over the last couple of months. But before I get into all of that, I wanted to take just a minute to thank the sponsor of today's video, because the sponsors of my channel are what allow me to bring all of this information to you guys on a regular basis. Wholesale Ninjas is a liquidation company that I have had the pleasure of partnering with for almost a year and a half. As an e-commerce seller, finding a reputable source of inventory is crucial for long-term success, because if you don't have a reputable supplier that you can count on, you don't have consistent merchandise that you can sell for profit. So a couple of years ago, I embarked on this journey to try to find the most reputable suppliers that I could for keeping a steady supply in my eBay store. And a simple Google search led me to the Wholesale Ninjas website. I was immediately intrigued because they were selling a lot of the kind of merchandise that I was looking to source, and I was finding it really difficult to find consistency in those kind of items. If you've watched any of my other videos, you probably know I love selling health and beauty. I really like doing cosmetics, and I'll even dabble in general merchandise from time to time. But those kind of items were really difficult to find a consistent supply of across the board. And when I came across the Wholesale Ninjas website, I got really excited because it looked like they had a lot of that kind of inventory really consistently. And that was something I was struggling with when I was looking at other companies. They would maybe have HBA really intermittently. I couldn't really count on them to have it when I needed it. But I picked up the phone, I called Wholesale Ninjas, I asked them a whole bunch of questions, and come to find out, HBA and personal care was actually something that they restock regularly. And that was like unheard of for me at the time. Anytime I talked to a company about HBA, they'd be like, yeah, we got it every once in a while. Yeah, occasionally we have some. We can let you know whenever we get some in stock. But Wholesale Ninjas was like, no, we got this stuff all the time. We're always stocking the shelves with HBA. So I got really excited, ordered a whole bunch of test lots. It all arrived, and you guys, when I opened up this stuff, I got so excited. Everything was impeccably packaged. There was hardly any stickers covering these things, which I don't know how familiar you guys are with liquidation, but sometimes you can get liquidation in and stuff is just encased in stickers, and you have to spend a bunch of time, a bunch of money trying to get all of these stickers off so that you have sellable merchandise. But with Wholesale Ninjas, there was hardly any stickers. Everything was impeccably packaged. Nothing broke in transit, which is really common with a lot of other companies. And I was just overall really impressed. So I then reached out to them and I said, hey, I have a YouTube channel. Is there any way I can get a coupon code for viewers? And they were more than happy to partner with me, and they've been giving me coupon codes for viewers ever since. The current active coupon code is Lindey25, and it gets you $25 off of anything on the Wholesale Ninjas website. They can really accommodate any level seller. You can buy a small box of around 100 items all the way up to pallets and truckloads. So they can truly accommodate any level seller. Appreciate the partnership that I have with Wholesale Ninjas, and thank you again for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so now let's have a chitty chat of all of the things that I wrote down that were notable about things that I noticed about the platform, kind of tips that I had to sell a little bit more. Let's just talk about everything. And again, I apologize if this is all over the place because notes. So technically all sales are final, but buyers can send a cancellation request if you have not yet shipped an item. I actually took a screenshot of what a cancellation request looks like. I guess you could decline cancellation if you really wanted to, but I mean, if you haven't shipped the item out, why would you decline it? That's kind of mean thing to do if you ask me. So you just click the button and you allow for their cancellation request. But what I did notice was that they restocked if you had multiple quantities. At least I'm pretty sure they restocked. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to remember if I had to go in and fix it or if they fixed it in the listing for me. Sorry. I want to say that they restocked the quantity. Let me get back to you on that. I'll have to wait for the next time I happen to get a cancellation request to absolutely confirm, but I want to say they did. I want to say that the one cancellation that I had, it was a multiple quantity listing on Facebook Marketplace, and when it canceled, it automatically put the correct quantity back. Don't quote me, I could be wrong. I already feel you guys judging me in the comments, but I'm just doing my best. I wanted to get this video out for you. Take it for what it's worth. So something else that I wanted to make note of was something that I'm gonna try to not do from here on out is post too much stuff to Facebook Marketplace too quickly. So you guys know I do a lot of different things, right? I'm selling on eBay, I'm selling on all these other platforms. I, have a YouTube channel, I do affiliate marketing, I do all these things. And so if there was a lot of stuff I wanted to post on Facebook Marketplace, I tended to put it all on Facebook Marketplace all at once because it's so fast to list on Facebook Marketplace. Like, you could do a listing in a minute. It's just so quick because there's not a lot of fields that you have to enter in. You just snap a couple of pictures. It's really super casual. And so I was posting like 20, 25 items all at once, and that was a mistake. I'm not gonna do that moving forward because I was overwhelming myself really, really fast because I would start to get messages about things, and I wouldn't just get one person inquiring about one thing. I would get like 20 people inquiring about one thing, and then I had 20 different items. And so I'm not kidding when I say I would have like 100 messages come in over the course of an hour, and it was totally overwhelming. It was freaking me out. It was completely monopolizing my evenings. And so that was a big mistake. I realized moving forward, I need to just do, maybe 5 items at most, because in the video that I had where I was talking about all of the items that sold, again, that I will link in case you missed it, there was a Fortnite Monopoly game that I had probably 50 people inquire about just that one toy. And of course I had multiples of them, so it was okay. I was glad to have lots of people inquiring about it because I had so many. But it was a lot of messages to juggle because I didn't just list one thing, I would list like 20. And so it became really overwhelming to have to juggle so many messages, especially with items that had multiple quantities. I was trying to keep track of how many people were contacting me, how many I actually had, like with the Fortnite Monopoly game. I'm like, okay, how many do I have? How many people are contacting me? Okay, how many people said that they are actually gonna come pick it up versus how many people are just saying, I am interested, or is this still available? Those annoying messages that we always get. It was a lot to juggle. And so my recommendation would be try to not list more than 5 items at a time, because I like to think I'm good at multitasking. Like I like to think that I handle, a lot of things going on at once, but I don't really process stress well. I get overwhelmed very, very easy. I'm sure you guys have heard me mention before. I get overwhelmed, right? And so, having all of those messages coming at me all at once, it was a lot. It was a lot. A lot. When it comes to people asking you to hold merchandise, I ran into this a lot, especially around Christmas. People were wanting me to hold gifts for paydays or hold gifts because they didn't want to have the toys in the house. They basically wanted to use me like a storage unit so that their kids couldn't peek in on their toys. But the thing of it is, with Facebook Pay, there's no excuse to not get payment if you're gonna hold something. Like I told you guys, Facebook Pay has 0 fees for the buyer and 0 fees for the seller right now. So if someone wants to buy something and they want you to hold it, say, okay, I'll hold it, but you have to send me Facebook payment. And there really is no excuse because Facebook Pay can be linked to a card. Like, you don't have to put in a bank routing number. You don't have to put in a bank account number. You can literally just, you can even use a friggin' Visa gift card number and have that be how you submit payments through Facebook Pay. So there's literally no excuse. There's no, I don't have a bank account, I don't have this, I don't have that. No, there's no excuse. Facebook Pay makes it so stinking easy. If somebody really wants to buy it from you, they can send you the payment and then they can come pick it up at their leisure. Or you could drop it off at yours. There's no excuse. So if someone wants you to hold something, tell them that they need to send it over Facebook Pay and then you will hold it. Now, it could be a completely different story if they're wanting you to hold it because they're waiting for a payday or whatever. So that can be completely up to you whether or not you want to do that. But definitely request Facebook payment if they're wanting you to hold it, if it's not like a payday issue or something like that. Next tip that I have is if people are coming to pick things up from your house, it can be really difficult to try to remember when people are gonna come. Even if you only have 1 or 2 people that are gonna come show up, if you have a lot of stuff going on, it can be really difficult for you to remember exactly who is gonna meet you when and where, if they're just coming to your house to pick things up. So something that I like to tell people, to send me a Facebook message when they're on the way, because if they send me a message when they're on their way, I can immediately set a reminder on my phone to know that they're coming. So for instance, if I have a lot of things going on and I don't want to have to watch for somebody, I will tell them to give me a message when they're on their way and let me know about how long until they're gonna get there. So then I'll get a message. They'll say, I'll be there in about 20 minutes. I will immediately pick up my phone and I will ask Siri to set a timer for 20 minutes. And then that way, when the timer goes off, I know to be watching for somebody. And it really helps keep things straight versus, trying to constantly look at the clock, constantly wait around. And that's the way I've been doing it, and it takes a lot of pressure off of trying to keep track of who's supposed to show up when. Okay, so now this next one is actually just a reminder that you can do multiple quantity listings on Facebook now. So before there was no quantity space, and now there is. It just showed up one day and I kept overlooking it. So know that it is there. So if you have multiples of something, like let's say you bought a general merchandise palette from Wholesale Ninjas, like the stuff I was selling on Facebook this last month, and you have 15 of something, there is a quantity space that you can put a quantity of now. So make sure to look for it though, because I kept overlooking it. I kept forgetting it was there because it's a new feature. So there is a quantity place now. Oh, here's a tip for shipping and shipping labels. So if you are opting to have Facebook send you the shipping label via email, they don't just send it automatically when the item sells like Mercari and Poshmark do. You have to actually prompt Facebook Marketplace to generate the shipping label and send it to you. So something that I realized was a mistake was to generate the label as soon as it sells if you are not going to ship it in that moment, because I was starting to find it very difficult to juggle a whole bunch of emails with shipping labels because I wasn't sure what had been shipped and what hadn't. So now if you're shipping on, eBay or Amazon, it's really easy to keep track of what's shipped and what isn't because you have to actually click the button, print the label, put the label on the thing and send it off. But with Facebook Marketplace, if you generate the label early and then you wait and ship later and you're kind of all over the place with what you're shipping when, you might not be, but I tend to be a little all over the place when I do shipping if it's not on eBay. It's really easy to lose track because the minute you generate that shipping label, they mark it as shipped. And if you're selling multiples or if you're mixing things up, it can get very, very confusing. So the tip that I have is to not generate the Facebook Marketplace shipping label until you are actually shipping that item. And I would tend to do it just one at a time. So I wasn't, getting things mixed up. I would click the button to generate the shipping label in the moment, and then I would open up the email and print the label right then and there, put it on and ship it out, versus going ahead and generating the shipping labels as the sales come in. Because if you start to just generate the labels as the sales come in, what happens is the emails that Facebook Marketplace sends you with the shipping labels, Gmail, at least for me anyway, Gmail compiles the emails. And it's really easy to lose track of, okay, what did I ship? What did I not ship? And so I find that just taking it slow, generating the labels one at a time, when you're ready to actually ship it, it just keeps everything straight. It's really hard for me to I guess, communicate how exactly it gets confusing, but it does get confusing. So just take my word for it. If you're shipping out a lot of different things on Facebook Marketplace, take it one at a time, one at a time, because I don't want to say it confused me because it didn't confuse me, but it was really hard for me to start juggling what was shipped and what wasn't shipped when I started generating the labels a little prematurely. So just generate the labels in the moment when you're shipping the item. It'll keep everything straight, remove all confusion, keep you from mixing up packages and stuff like that. So there is this thing called the Facebook Marketplace Assistant. I don't know how exactly it works, what criteria it is, but what happens is, if your item's not selling, the Facebook Assistant will prompt you to lower the price. And I think when you actually take the advice of the Facebook Marketplace Assistant, it actually gives your listing another boost. So of course we know we can worry about our listings getting buried or getting stale, but when you use the Facebook Assistant and you take their suggestion, it seems like it freshens up your listing again, because this is what happened to me. So I was selling the Minions Lego set, and I had it listed for $10. I mentioned it on that sales recap video that I did. I had it listed for $10. I sold one, and then the listing kind of went stagnant. It went stale. Nobody was really inquiring about it anymore. And then the Facebook Marketplace assistant prompted and said, hey, maybe you should drop the price to $8. And so I clicked the little button. It automatically dropped my price to $8, and then I sold out. Like all of the rest sold. And I was kind of like, that was weird. Okay. And it was intriguing to me because the whole idea of the Facebook assistant, it was really pretty cool, honestly, because it was Facebook assisting you, essentially. You got a Facebook message that said, hey, your item's not selling. You want to try dropping the price? And at the click of a button, it edits your listing, it drops your price. I think it might do something else, like give it like a nice fresh face on the marketplace site. So I guess the long and short of it was I only sold one of four. The Facebook Marketplace prompted me to drop the price to $8. I did, and the rest sold out. And so that was actually pretty cool. But the thing that I'm confused about with the Facebook Marketplace assistant is what criteria is there for it to prompt you to do anything? Because I had a lot of listings that went stale and didn't really sell. I had to keep renewing the listing, which we'll get to in a minute, but it didn't prompt me to do this on any other listings other than the Lego one and then maybe two others. So I don't know if it's a certain amount of views and no sales that will get the Facebook Marketplace assistant to prompt. I don't know exactly what criteria is involved there, but it was a cool feature nonetheless. I thought it was kind of neat. And so then the last thing I wanted to bring up was the renew button feature. So if a listing is there for 7 days, there is a little button that you can hit that says renew listing. And I think it's kind of like a refresh, because what ends up happening with Facebook Marketplace, I've noticed, is they always want to promote the newest listings, right? And so if you have an item listed for more than a couple of days, if it really gets no attention, the listing tends to get buried. At least that's what I've noticed. The listing kind of gets buried. But the renew listing button, I see results from it. So if 7 days goes by, I can just hit the renew button and I'll get some traction on it again, which is kind of cool. It really saves you from having to delete the listing and relist it, which is something that I would recommend if you're really wanting to sell an item. It would almost behoove you to remove the listing and list it as a fresh listing every couple of days, because again, I have noticed that either you get a lot of traction right away or the item kind of tends to sit and you have to renew the listing anyway. But if you don't want to wait 7 days in order to renew the listing, you might as well pull the listing down and list it again from scratch. But the renew button, if you're not in a huge rush to sell the item, that renew button that allows you to renew your listing every 7 days does come in very handy. Okay, so that's pretty much it for all of the tips and kind of things that I've learned about Facebook Marketplace over the last couple of months of really putting some energy into selling, shipping things, all of that kind of stuff. So in closing, I want to give you guys my thoughts on like long-term success with the platform. So I do see Facebook Marketplace being a contender in the e-commerce world for sure. But for right now, I don't really like the layout for putting a lot of my energy into Facebook Marketplace. I can see myself, flipping like the bulk items that I showed you guys that I got from Wholesale Ninjas, or the Target master case stuff that I got from Wholesale Ninjas, all of that brand new, lovely general merchandise. I can see putting that kind of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but like everything that I'm listing on a regular basis on eBay, I don't see myself putting on Facebook Marketplace at the moment because I don't care for the layout. The layout of Facebook Marketplace is not exactly conducive to high volume sales. Like it's still kind of really set up for like, I'll sell 1 or 2 items a day kind of thing versus, having a high volume scale like you would for eBay or Amazon. So long term, I don't exactly know what Facebook Marketplace could do to compete with eBay and Amazon in that sense, because it's not really set up for a large store of merchandise that you regularly keep available for sale at all times. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to voice my opinion in that sense. To me, Facebook Marketplace is still kind of a platform where, you list maybe 5 or 10 items a week and sell 5 or 10 items a week. And it's because the interface isn't really set up for hundreds of items. There we go. That's the best way I could think to describe it. The interface is not really set up to have hundreds or thousands of items like you would be able to on Amazon or eBay. It's just kind of like, yeah, you know, so it's like a side hustle to your side hustle, pretty much. That's what Facebook Marketplace is to me. It's a side hustle to my side hustle. And it's a side hustle to my side hustle to my full-time gig. I mean, essentially. But all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below, have you been using Facebook Marketplace a lot more for your e-commerce business? Is it kind of just a side hustle to your side hustle to your full-time gig? What are you currently using Facebook Marketplace for? Also, down in the comments, let me know, are you watching this video because you want to start selling on Facebook Marketplace but haven't yet? Let me know kind of like your experience with the platform so far. I'm really curious to know how many of my viewers are actively selling on the Facebook Marketplace platform now versus how many are just wanting to learn and are curious about selling on Facebook Marketplace in the future. I'm really curious to know where most of my viewers are. So let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to check the video description. I will put a lot of useful information in there, as well as my coupon code and some of my favorite links to the Wholesale Ninjas website. Don't forget to like this video if you like this kind of content, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more videos. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you with my next video. Bye-bye.